Self-isolation, day 6. Not day 16 or day 26 or day 36 or 46 or maybe even 56. Just day 6. Boy, this is going to be difficult, isn't it? This is going to be difficult. I mean, psychologically, you've got to be tough to get through this. You have to, because this is just day 6. And I'm already very bored of my routine. I'm very, very bored of it. To the point where I've decided to, I'm looking that way because my bathroom's that way. I've decided to tile my bathroom just because it needs tiling. I've got the tiles. I've got all the shit. I can't tile, but I figure watching enough YouTube videos, I might be able to do it. Look, worst case scenario, if I can't do it and I fuck it up, I've got 60 days or so to try and put it right. Crazy. I will say this. I do think, I have said on a few videos that I don't think we're serious about it. I do think now that the Brits are very, very serious about it. I didn't self-isolate yesterday. I had to go into TalkSport. Self-employed people. Before everyone shouts at me, I'm self-employed, got to get that money. I went into TalkSport yesterday and the trains were empty. The station was empty. The roads were empty. And this is at 6:37, and even coming back like 10 in the evening, empty. So people are listening, which is very, very good. Everyone except me. You know what it is? Obviously, the government have said they're going to help out self-employed people and we are going to get some sort of money by June. So yeah, I guess by then, though, everything will be back to normal, innit? Everything will be back to normal, we hope, and you'll start working again. So it's a bit weird. But yeah, well done to everyone that is staying at home. Well done for the NHS clap, 8 o'clock last night. I don't know if other countries are doing the same thing, but if you're watching this from outside of the UK, we clapped for our National Health Service yesterday at 8 p.m. They're doing a ridiculously good job, Not supported, I don't think. This is not a politics show, but I don't think not supported in the last few years by the Conservative Party. But nonetheless, let's put that to the side for the second. They're doing an amazing job. I think we've got something like 550,000 volunteers in the last 2 days have come forward, which is incredible. Some sports stars are letting off their properties. Amir Khan, boxer. I don't know why I said Amir Khan, boxer. You know Amir Khan's a boxer. But Amir Khan has a 60,000 square foot old shopping mall in Bolton. He's going to change it into a banqueting suite and his own shopping mall. Fucking Amir Khan's doing his bits, you know. But he's decided to give that to the NHS for now. He thinks they can get up to 4,000 beds in there, which again shows how serious this is, right? I mean, we've got, and I don't know if you guys live in the UK, hopefully a lot of you guys do, we've got some good hospitals here, some big hospitals, not enough space. Not enough space in those hospitals to care for all the sick people they're expecting to care for. Crazy. Coffee in the morning. Oh, man. Very, very good. All right, anyway, enough of coronavirus talk, because I know a lot of people don't like it, but I feel like I've got to talk about it because it's part of what's going on in society, right? It affects boxing. It affects everything right now. So I think it would be dumb not to talk about it a little bit. I know it pisses some people off, but come on, people. I'm only talking about it for 2 minutes. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Bob Arum has come out in the last 24 hours and said that that fight will now be pushed back. As I said, I done a video about this, a couple of days ago, saying all fights will be pushed back, even though they've not been announced that they'll be pushed back. It's inevitable that that's going to happen. He said that Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the trilogy fight, will now happen around October, which makes me think that Vasyl Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, let me get that right, major champion's name, always first. That's not going to happen until November, December, which is crazy, right? Crazy. A fight scheduled for May might not happen until 6-7 months later. It's crazy. But yeah, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, now pushed back to October. I'm expecting the same things to happen to Dillian White, Povetkin, Chisora, Usyk, and also Joshua Pulev. Joshua's trainer has come out and said he expects Joshua Pulev to be postponed as well. So disappointing. That there was such a good little 3 or 4 month run where we're going to get so many good fights, and they're all being pushed back, and not being pushed back to like the week after or month, pushed back 4 or 5 months, which is disappointing. I think the only person that benefits from this pushback is Deontay Wilder. I really do. I mean, if I'm Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder's team, I mean, this is great news. It really is. I think the turnaround for Deontay Wilder, considering that beating, it wasn't a crazy beating. I mean, he got beaten, but it wasn't crazy. I mean, I've seen worse. But the psychological effect of that beating, I think, takes some time to get over. Even though he released that IG video saying, "I am your king, I will reign again," and all that kind of shit. It takes a long time to get over that kind of beating. It takes a long time to lose your O, right? We've seen boxers lose their O and be so different when they come back. And I think this is good for Deontay Wilder. I think this time out, he can change a few things, right? Whether or not that means adding someone to the training camp, whether or not it means changing up sparring. I think the big thing for Deontay Wilder is the weight. A lot of people were talking about this weight and that he put on the weight too quick. Now I think it gives him time to sort of walk around and train with that weight, right? So he's used to carrying that extra bulk of muscle, and it was muscle, it wasn't fat. So I think this is a good time for him, right? When was their fight? February. Was it February? Yeah, February. Now they're not going to fight again until October. He's now should be used to carrying that weight around. So I think that's important. So I think it's good news for Deontay Wilder. Good news for Tyson Fury? Don't know. Tyson Fury is the kind of boxer that you hope, maybe I'm judging it on Tyson Fury in the past, but you think that, I don't know, I just got a feeling that Idle Minds comes to mind when I think of Tyson Fury. But hopefully he can sort of stay on track. I'm sure he will, and get prepared for this fight. But I think for Deontay Wilder, it's good news. It's real good news. So yeah, that fight's been pushed back to October. You know what, boxing is so... sorry, this is a bit of a boxing rant. Apologies for this. Boxing needs to change so many things. Like, so many things. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I wanted this video to be 5 minutes, but here we go. Here we go. Yeah, boxing needs to change so many things. I've seen so many boxers in the last week or so say things like, when this is all over, I'm going to have 3 fights or 4 fights this year. So basically they're hoping this is done by the end of May. So between sort of June 1st and December the 31st, they're hoping to have 3 or 4 fights. These are boxers who normally have 2 fights a year. They're now telling us that they can have 3 to 4 fights in 7 months or 6 months. So that tells me that they've always been able to, if they really wanted to, have 4, maybe even 5 fights in a calendar year. But they've chose to, I don't know why, right? Maybe it's financial, right? They make so much money for 1 fight. They're like, well, don't really need to have 2 or 3. Maybe that's the reason. But now they're telling us that they can have, or they will have, and I guess it's all talk, right? But they're saying they're capable of having 3, maybe even, and this is ridiculous, 4 fights in 7 months. And now that is pushing it for me. But all I want as a boxing fan is to see these boxers fight 4 times a year. Now, I don't know if I'm being greedy, but that's kind of what I would like to think, that boxers, athletes are capable of fighting 4 fights a year. Now, if you have a grueling fight and you get mashed up, then granted, right? I mean, you shouldn't be in the ring, right? In fact, you should take a lot longer off. But if you don't have a grueling fight, so I'm talking where it's not physically taxing. I know 12 rounds is physically taxing, but I'm talking about where you're not on the end of a beating. Why can't you have 4 fights like that a year? Why can't you? Right? It's almost like boxers now are feeling the pinch, because most boxers only get paid when they fight, right? They don't have big sponsors covering them. It's only now when they're feeling the pinch that they decide, and wait a minute, we can have 3, 4 fights this year. Or 3, 4 fights when boxing resumes, which again, we hope's the end of May. Boxers need to rethink a few things during this time of isolation, right? I've always said, like, boxers, like, why aren't boxers more famous, right? Boxers need to become more famous. They're not known. They should be known like other sportsmen. I guess the reason they're not known is because we only see them once or twice a year, right? You see footballers 60 times a year. You know what I mean? NBA stars 100 times a year if you count the playoffs. You know, we see these boxers twice a year. That's it. Why would a sponsor want to get behind an athlete that you only see twice a year? When you think about it, really, I mean, if I'm a big sponsor, I mean, why am I going to get behind an athlete I only see twice? Boxers really need to think about fighting 4 or 5 times a year. Again, if you're on the end of a beating, fair dues. But if you're not, you should be fighting 4 or 5 times a year, right? Boxers, will always tell us about how difficult training camp is, and that's part of the reason why they don't fight that many times a year. I get that, but you can help that by going into the training camp somewhat fit. You know, again, this is not me being critical of boxers, but this is a true statement. We've seen it. I mean, boxers routinely walk around so far away from their weight class, it's scary. So far away from, I mean, look at Ricky Hatton back in the day. I mean, Rick Hatton was a welterweight and a light welterweight, so 140, 147 pounds. He was probably walking around at 180, 190. Training camp's obviously going to be a bit harder if that's how you start training camp. I mean, boxers now might start to think of staying closer to their weight classes, right? Tailoring their strength and condition. There's so many things that they might change now so that they can fight 4 times a year, maybe even 5 times a year. Daniel Dubois fought 5 times last year. Yes, he was blowing people out, but he fought 5 times last year. That's what I'm talking about. If you're able to do what a Daniel Dubois did, why can't you fight 5 times in a year? I'm not talking about broadcaster stuff. That's all very different. But if there is no broadcaster issues, why can't you? Boxers need to think about this going forward. They really do. Fighting once or twice a year just isn't enough. It really isn't enough for us fans. I've got so many more things that I want to rant about. But I will probably save them for isolation day 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Because fuck me, I'm struggling. But one thing I do want to talk about, and I might do it tonight, separate video, because it's definitely going to be a longer video, is sort of boxers and their purses, right? And sort of whether or not boxers should be on salaries. Because there's so many sort of world level boxers right now, world level. So you've reached a peak of your sport that are financially struggling, like big time, because they're not fighting. And you wonder if boxers should almost be on a salary. So right now, obviously, the way it works with boxers, and by the way, Matchroom do pay some boxers a salary, but the way it works with most boxers, obviously, is that you get a lump sum for a fight, right? That's how it works. You pay off your promoter, manager, cornerman, sparring partner, but you get that lump sum. And you kind of wonder if boxers should almost, I don't know, get 50% of that lump sum and somehow get like a monthly wage through the rest, right? So whether that be the British Boxing Board of Control or whatever sanctioning body you're with, whatever, but someone pays you 50% of that over, I don't know how much 50% will last, but over a year. So you know you're getting something every single month. Because this idea of just having that one fight and then getting that lump sum of money, I just don't think it works. I don't think it works. I think 50% of that lump sum, right? Because you've got to pay off so many people, but then sort of divide the rest over 12 months or something. I don't know, but I need to think about that. But I will do a video about it, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We've got 60 days, ain't we? We've got about 60 days, so I can do it whenever. Peace, peeps. Guys, sorry, it's me again. I'm back. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, please like and share the videos. It really does help the channel a lot. And if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, I'm done. Peace.